22 Central African Time. This is Africa at Play. Asteleli Siashaya as we welcome our 18-year-old teenager in sport who is a South African national sport climbing team captain with incredible accolades. Protea Sport climbing colours, Gauteng Provincial Sport climbing colours, 2024 South African national youth climbing team captain, and also sport climbing full colours and sport climber of the year 2023 and 2024. Believe you me, this list is endless, and this goes to show an exciting journey by our teenager in sport, Fayzan Adroos. Fayzan, a very good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Hi, thank you for having me. Sorry, you cut out for a second.
No problem indeed. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's talk about sport climbing. When we talk about climbing in sport, what precisely are we talking about?
So with regard to competitions in general, we have three disciplines that competitors take part in. We have bouldering, lead, and speed climbing. Speed climbing is quite self-explanatory in itself, and it's whoever gets to the top first. And bouldering and lead feature high wall climbing with a rope versus really intense, powerful climbing without any form of protection except a mat.
You've got exciting and exhilarating accolades in sport climbing. When did this journey all begin for Fayzan Adroos?
For me, it was when I was in grade 4 at my previous primary school, at the Ridge School. They offered sport climbing as extracurricular, and it was never really supposed to be something that I would take seriously. It was something I thought I would just start and do to get maybe colors or have fun in. But after that, the rest is history, and I got hooked immediately.
A young African listening to this conversation will probably wonder, where do you precisely do the climbing? Where does it all happen?
So in Johannesburg, there's a number of different options. You can go to City Rock in Randburg. There's an four-ways option for Block 11 in the Four-Ways Mall, which recently opened, and it's a facility that offers training and just an experience for climbing overall. There's also Friends and Allies, which is a gym that offers climbing and bouldering specialty in Ferndale. And so there's many options, including Pretoria as well. I'm not exactly sure on the locations for those, but there's about 6 options in Joburg that they can go to.
You've achieved very well in the sport climbing journey. You are the 2023-2024 Sport Climber of the Year. How did these achievements come about?
So for Sport Climber of the Year, it was mainly from a school-administered award because my school that I currently go to in high school at St. David's, Marist in Nanda, offers a Sport Climbing Award of the Year to an individual who has performed exceptionally or above average in their climbing endeavors throughout the year. And I think overall for any form of achievement that I've managed to accumulate in climbing, it was just stems from my passion and willingness to really give my all, because climbing is what I really like, and so I invest everything I have into it.
And sport climbing is not a popular sport where we can assume that a lot of people know about it. Do you see the sport growing in South Africa?
Definitely. Within the last 5 years, we've seen phenomenal growth in sport climbing in South Africa. In addition to it being added to the Olympics, we've had a number of competitors being added to the overseas competitor list. We've had about a new gym opening in Fourways, another 2 in Cape Town, and including in the Eastern Cape. And so in addition to funding and just overall participation, I can see it growing far in the next 5 years as well.
And Fayzan, one cannot underestimate the power of sport because it opens up other doors like traveling out of the country. You've been able to participate in sport climbing internationally. You've been to Guiyang in China. You've been to Graz, Austria, London in the United Kingdom, Tokyo, Japan, Seoul, South Korea. You've been to many countries out there that a lot of people have not been able to go to. Talk to us about your first trip going to participate in sport climbing internationally. How was the experience?
It was mind-blowing. To sum it up, I think it was more nerve-wracking than anything. My first international competition saw me participating in Seoul at the Youth World Championships in 2023. And upon arriving there, I think the biggest shock for me was being in a space where so many athletes just like yourself are willing to give everything that they have. And instead of being the top of, the smaller group of competitors in South Africa, you now have about 120 other guys and girls who all have the same goal, who are willing to do everything it takes. And so there was a lot of pressure, and not only pressure, but you also, it hits you hard reality of how hard you have to really work to be the best, and that you're not special, and that you have to be willing to sacrifice everything to be the best. And you get to also witness athletes who are stronger than yourself, who are better than yourself, and that inspires you to really just start off fresh again and think that you have a lot of work to do, and it inspires you to go back home and start from ground up.
If you have just joined us, we are having an exciting conversation with our 18-year-old teenager in sport, Fayzan Adroos, who is a South African national sport climbing team captain, who's been to about 6 countries that I've counted. Fayzan, I've counted about 6 international countries that you've visited, including Texas in the United States. Talk to us about the experience. Which out of these countries that you've traveled to, where did you enjoy the most? How was the experience?
Sorry, you cut out for a second, but I'm back now.
No worries. Did you get the question?
No, sorry. Please, could you repeat?
No worries. I was saying you've been to about 6 countries, including Texas in the United States. How was the experience to all these different countries?
So unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity to go to Texas, even though I was qualified for it for the team. I wasn't approved a visa. But with regard to the other countries, the number of countries I've been to through Europe and Asia is definitely, it's just a privilege. It's not a right, and it's something that I'm always grateful for. Going to Asia, I got to experience a wide range of different cultures, not only in climbing, but the approach to climbing, the community, the way they train. And you really appreciate that there's so much more out there. And in Europe in particular, I got to experience a different group of athletes and another level of skill, from where in South Africa we might specialize in brute strength and our ability to just hold endurance on the wall. In Europe, you are exposed to athletes with more technique and more intricate ability. So that experience, through experiencing all those countries, has just been eye-opening and enlightening, if anything.
You haven't been to these countries, the likes of South Korea and China. Did you get to learn those languages? Perhaps the basics of these languages?
I tried my best. In China, the extent of what I could say was hello, could I please have the chicken, and not too spicy. And in Korea, it summed up pretty much the same thing, as well as hello, bye, and thank you. So we definitely tried, us in the team, being a couple of youth athletes as well. We had our fun, and we tried to learn a few unique things, but I can't say I'm fluent at all now.
And with the basics that you've learned, I can see that you love your scrumptious food. How do you then say in Chinese, could I please have a chicken and not too spicy?
So I will remember the basics of going bai shi de, and that's it. I don't remember the rest, but I can remember saying goodbye in Saichin and annyeonghaseyo for Korea, and thanking the other athletes and the officials for what they've done. So it was a while ago, but I still try and keep what I can.
Exciting indeed. And how did you earn the captaincy belt? Because you are the team captain of Team South Africa, and this is not something that started now, but you've been at it for some time now.
So I was the captain last year for the youth team that had traveled to China, and unfortunately this year, with matric and everything else that was going on, I took the decision to step back from international competitions. But from last year and my experience as captain, I think I was able to leave it in a positive space, one that hopefully the junior athletes in the team were able to appreciate and look towards working to become stronger and cultivate the same culture within the team that I tried to. So yeah, I think it was overall a healthy environment, and one that also I tried to have athletes appreciate not only the experience of climbing and the performance you need to cultivate to do the best on the wall, but also just the comrades you accumulate overseas and the teammates you develop. So the relationships as well are really important.
We are talking to Fayzan Adroos, an 18-year-old teenager in sport who is a South African national sport climbing team captain. Fayzan, let's talk about youngsters out there listening to this conversation who could just be interested to join sport climbing, which schools would you recommend? Are there clubs out there where someone could just knock and say, I'm interested to join this club?
So I think with respect to joining from a club, I think the first thing is that climbing is such a free sport. There's no real limitations or rules that you should be able to walk into a climbing gym one day and you can start off on your own. So there's no real need for a club or administrative feature to get yourself involved. So that's, I think, a really good advantage to climbing. But with respect to a club, there's Chasing Peak in Johannesburg. They spread all through Pretoria to Fourways and everywhere in Gauteng. They're a really good club to start out with schools. The Ridge School, St. David's, Heron Bridge. There's more than I can count, in fact, that compete in inter-schools competitions. So a quick Google search and I'm sure you'll find the closest one to you.
How long does it take to prepare for a competition?
There's no real set time. You're always preparing for a competition. Whether you're in the off season or off day or on a training day, there's always preparation involved, be it mentally, physically, and on rest days when you're doing mobility training and mental prep. Your training involves cycles, and those are scientific cycles developed to make sure your body peaks at the right moment for that competition. And that can see anywhere between 6 to 12 months of training and just cycling. And often your coach will help you develop those programs.
How fit should one be to be a competitive sport climber?
Very, very fit. Yeah, there's a baseline I'd say it's crazy for climbing and any real competitive sport or athlete. To be the best and compete amongst the best in the country and in the world, you have to be phenomenal with your explosive power and your strength, your endurance, your capability and capacity to just keep training and keep going, and also mentally fit, because I think that's the most important one. A lot of athletes can be really strong physically, but if you don't have what it takes mentally, and often I had to face that hard reality quite soon on in my career and learn that without the mental strength and that edge, you won't get far.
Matric exams are currently underway. How has it been?
They've been good. Yeah. I'm grateful to be able to say they've been good. I have maths paper 2 on Monday, so we'll see. Maybe it won't be so good anymore, but I feel ready. We'll see.
How many subjects have you written so far? Having said that they've been good, at least we can count down to the outstanding ones.
So I had 12 finals left at the end of at the start of the period, and I've written 6 so far. So yeah, I have 6 left.
Oh, so you've knocked half a dozen. You are left with half a dozen.
Yeah, so halfway there.
Yeah, having post international competition, does this imply that although you are focusing on your examinations, do you still train, or you've also paused training and you will only resume after exams?
No, so I've definitely carried on training. It's at a slightly lower volume than before, but it's maintaining the ability and strength that I developed in my previous training. But I have taken a step back from competitions this year just to focus on school and my matric. But I just keep training consistently for sure.
What's your favorite subject in matric?
I think it's physics, physical science, yeah.
Why physical science? I'm certain there's an interesting reason.
Yeah, so I can graft and memorize for subjects like history and the likes of bio. But when it comes to physics, I really, really enjoy studying for physics compared to the others and writing my exams. The problem solving and the approach that I can take to physics, I find it really engaging and something that I just will always prefer over sitting and learning notes on notes.
Do you have an idea of what's happening in 2026 in terms of furthering your studies, or are you one of those that are insisting on a gap year?
I don't think my parents will really allow a gap year, to be honest. But I'm looking at hopefully either studying at UCT or going overseas to focus on both studies and training.
Exciting indeed. 15:36 Central African time. That's how we wrap up our conversation with our 18